also want to just thank the Save Our Seminary group, especially Bonnie, for all of her work, all of your work, and keeping this vibrant until we can get to a decision point, until we can, working with the federal government, we can make something happen here. And I just want to commit all of the county's resources to make sure that we do get to that point as quickly as possible, that instead of talking about stabilizing buildings, we're talking about restoring and renovating buildings and putting them back to very productive use.
I think the most important things that we did were, A, to try everything. We never knew if what we were doing was succeeding or failing. We published a book and we sold a lot of copies. We scheduled tours and we had a lot of people come to those tours. So we had a sense that we were doing some things right. We organized volunteers for cleanups and to actually renovate a building. And the volunteers turned out and we finished the renovation of that building.
When we painted the pagoda, people began to see the potential, and folks got really excited. My husband had set up floodlights in the front yard and trained them on the pagoda. And we used to have dinner in the yard with friends and just watch the cars slow down and people looking at the pagoda like, whoa, that's nice.
I come over here with 9 dogs, and I throw tennis balls for these 9 dogs until they're all worn out. While I'm here, I do a service for Save Our Seminary in regards to security of the buildings or water leaks or both. Make sure that the vandalism is kept to a minimum over here. And maybe, just maybe, the buildings will be here for a few more generations.
When we first moved to the community, we took a drive around and we came around the curve and I saw this Swiss chalet and a Japanese pagoda and I said, my God, what is this place? Got involved in the organization. I've been involved for almost 15 years now, and it is part of my life. It really is a passion for me. Save Our Seminary was started in 1988 by people who saw the seminary buildings on a slow decline. So they coalesced into a group. This included neighbors and preservation-minded people, lovers of history, who just formed and got together. Very shortly thereafter, Walter Reed decided they were going to demolish the buildings and put in Army housing, and that really strengthened the group.
I've noticed quite a few water leaks over the last few months. They turned off the heat in the middle of the winter, yet they left the water on. And of course, you get frozen pipes in the water supply pipes. And now there has been probably even more damage to the interior because of this. You know, a couple times it's taken the Army probably a week and a half to shut off the water.
The lowest point in my experience with the seminary was very clearly a day in September 1993 when I got a phone call saying the Odeon is on fire. And I said, God damn it. God damn the Army. I mean, this was absolutely the worst fear ever that we would have, that we would lose the building. And it happened because of their neglect.
There are a lot of people in SOS who are angry at the Army for letting the buildings deteriorate. That doesn't upset me as much as the fact that the Army sat on their hands for years after it was clear that they weren't going to be able to do whatever it was they wanted to do with the property. They should have let these properties go 10 years ago. We shouldn't be sitting here with 10 years of deterioration, having to worry about whether a developer can fix it. This should have been done a long time ago.
The people who belong to SOS or who support SOS are a really mixed bag of individuals. A lot of them are people from the area, either living here now or perhaps lived here, in the past, but people who know the site and see it and recognize it as something beautiful that ought to be preserved. But there are also the alumni of the National Park Seminary, the young women who are now more mature women who remember fondly their life as schoolgirls many years ago before the Army obtained the property and the school closed.
There's Dr. Day. Yeah, and here's his wife, and here's Mrs. Ahmed.
The allure of this property is wonderful. It's very unique. You won't see it anywhere else around here. And I do enjoy it. I'm never tired of looking at these buildings.
When we were looking for houses, I found a house across the street from the pagoda. Now, we were always wondering what the pagoda and the buildings that were connected with it were all about. We got to know the people in Save Our Seminary, joined up, got the house, and as we're fond of telling our friends, our involvement in Save Our Seminary and the seminary property conveyed with the house.
Well, when you talk about our role in the future, in some ways it's the same as our role in the past. The SOS mission has always been to preserve the site, to educate people about the site, and to guide its future. Well, once these buildings are restored and rehabilitated and are given a new lease on life with a new use as a residential community, the preservation part will be largely complete. We can pay a little bit less attention to that, although we're still going to want to monitor and make sure that good preservation standards are adhered to from now into, forever. But the educational role remains just as important in the future as it has been in the past. In fact, there are going to be 250 new families actually living on the historic site, living in historic buildings, and educating them about the value and the importance of the place that they have chosen to live in is a very important task that we have to take on, as well as educating the general public.
But preservation is an ongoing process. This is a never-ending, this place will always be historic, will always need to be preserved. So it's an ongoing process that I hope we see through the rest of our life, at least through our lifetimes. It's been here 100 years, it can go another 100.